Has it started?
One time.
Hello, and welcome back to another edition of our Talk It Out session presented by VERB. We are your hosts, Aaron Tate, Adrian Poe, with the lovely Jasmine Patterson behind camera. Everybody say hello to your future selves. So what we like to do is we like to pick a certain topic surrounding a social issue and decide to discuss it. We come up with various questions that we're going to ask throughout the discussion, and we also like to get you guys involved with us as well. So feel free to comment and ask any questions throughout the video as well. Today's topic, we are discussing femininity. Toxic femininity.
We dealt with it last week.
Let's talk about it.
Nope. Today's topic is toxic femininity. So last week, we did discuss toxic masculinity. And so before we get into toxic femininity, we should probably recap. So as far as toxic masculinity, we determined what masculinity is first, which are just characteristics that are assigned to the man or the male species. We determined that it becomes toxic when there's a situation where either a male or female is goes into overprotection mode of that idea that's been put out there that men are supposed to be a certain way. When it can also be the same for a woman, or men can also be another way, which is just as productive as the way that we're supposed to be. So we're pretty much going to tackle the same things with today's topic as far as toxic femininity, just identifying what characteristics are considered to be feminine and when it becomes toxic. Do you have anything to add?
If y'all missed the video of toxic masculinity, I definitely recommend after watching this one, go back and check that one out as well, because I'm pretty sure there'll be two parts of one whole.
Yes, absolutely. Anything you want to add before we get started, Jasmine?
No. I'm ready to get started.
Okay. All right. So that was a little part.
So
So,
and I want to let y'all know that in
Missed all the gems.
Right.
Because you want to drink.
So first question, or really is a statement, is we're going to name characteristics of femininity and how those characteristics can become toxic. We're going to name, because like I said, we've already identified those characteristics that are assigned to man. So what are some characteristics assigned to the woman? And when can those characteristics, or what situations are there out there, or are out there? I can't talk today. You think so?
Yeah.
What situations are out there that allow for femininity to become toxic?
I had one on that, and it's the automatic receiving mentality.
Do tell.
So a lot of females have this mentality to where they are automatically under the impression that they have to be receiving something.
So, for example,
we'll use the dinner. So say they're on a date and the female, without prior conversation, we never text about who's paying. We never discussed it. We never had any type of communication that insinuates that the man is going to pay. They automatically assume that the man is going to pay and they're going to receive the benefits of the man paying. This discussion never happened at all. They just assume that the man is going to pick you up. The man is going to pay for the gas. The man is going to pay for the movie. They automatically assume that when I walk out the door, I'm going to be receiving all night, free of charge.
So when does that become toxic?
Every time they walk out the door. Every time they walk out the door.
And there's no discussion had.
There's no discussion. Yeah, the moment that we didn't discuss it,
Right.
This lets me know that you don't care about communication. You just want to uphold the traditional values of femininity that you can benefit from. That need to be a discussion that we have. Communication is the key, right?
Yeah.
But I guess the door locked when they come to receiving, huh?
I mean,
I think it can also become toxic, like if in that scenario a man were to ask for her assistance in paying for some of these things.
yes. I'm sorry, what'd you do? You asked.
And the woman gets upset. Or
It'd be like, don't worry about it.
don't worry about
I'm just trying to talk to you.
it. We have a conversation.
So legit though, real quick, Jazz, quick question. Say you on the dating scene, right?
Right.
And you met a guy, and when he picks you up, he says, before I leave, I want to have a conversation. Can we talk real quick? Mm-hmm. Y'all sit down, and he'd be like, hey, we're about to go to this restaurant, but I want to know, will you be putting in on the tab? What is your mindset after he says that statement? Honestly.
The old Jasmine would have been like, yeah. I'm sorry, the old Jasmine. I'm just gonna call her old. We're not gonna call her aggressive.
That's what you were, yo.
Anyway, it probably would have been like, if you can't afford to take me out, then why did you ask type thing. Like, I appreciate, the question. Yeah, you open the floor for us to have the discussion, but like just thinking it, that's what I would be thinking. But out of my mouth, I'd be like, you know what? Okay, that's fine. Like we can split the bill. That's fine. And just, you'll probably won't hear from me after that. The old, But now I definitely don't have a problem with sharing a bill or splitting a bill or, sharing the load or doing it all. Like I don't have a problem with doing that now.
So I have another question then. Can you see how toxic that assumption is? Like prior to having any conversation, like we ain't never talked about this. And now I want to sit down and talk to you about this. You automatically, you would automatically rip away my ability because I ask you, how are we going to do the bill? Mm-hmm. And you said, well, if you can't afford to pay for no bill, like you're automatically, or you would automatically be assuming that because I can't pay for a $40 meal or because I don't choose to, I can definitely pay for it. I'm trying to see where your head is as well. So, can you see how I may be like, well, if you're not willing to contribute to food, why would I add you to my life?
I mean,
as a man.
Those are great questions. But
if you can't help me pay for a $4 meal, what type of woman I'm going to have running around with my child?
I agree.
You can't help me pay for a $4 meal?
Good question. But you know what? There's a lot of... well, not a lot. I don't know the number, but it doesn't seem like there's a lot of boys or males that have that concept to ask those type of questions.
So y'all use them?
Not using. It's
you
just
take advantage
like
of them.
No, just like you said, open your mouth, ask the right questions.
But it's going to get the door closed in our face, though.
But because those questions are not asked, because the boy or the male at the time has the mentality that I'm supposed to take care of this woman, he's probably not going to dare ask her.
Why don't you bring it up?
Because I have been conditioned to believe that a man should take care.
Good answer.
So because I've been conditioned, he's been conditioned.
We're gonna ride it out.
We're just gonna be sitting here conditioned together. Ain't nobody unless one or the other becomes evolved in the mind to think past that concept or that mentality. It's gonna keep going. Yeah. It's gonna keep going. You do have a lot of traditional people, especially in the South, that have the mindset of the man is the head, he is the protector. The wife and children want for nothing. He works all day, comes home, throws his feet up, get a beer. Wife brings him food. He goes to bed. That perception is here in the South. So because it's rooted in how we were brought up, it's hard to try to change that mindset or challenge it. Mm-hmm. Because again, if I'm growing up in it, or if I know that a man is supposed to take care of me, then I'm gonna let him do that. I'm not finna challenge him or be like, you want me to help too. I'm not finna do that. The old me,
okay. So let's ask. We got a couple people popping in. So for the viewers, females preferably, if you were on a date or a guy was coming to pick you up, and before you left the house, he said he wanted to have a conversation, and he wanted to discuss how the funds of tonight is going to be appropriated, such as gas, movies, who's paying for dinner. what would your first mindset be about that man if he simply asked those questions?
That's gonna be interesting, bro.
Yeah, it is.
But like I said, I feel like boys or males don't have.
Talk to the mic, please.
Don't have that.
Told you.
Do not have that that evolved mindset to ask what you asked. You know what I'm saying? Like, you asked a very good question. You asked a great open floor for some dialogue here. But at the end of it, if she doesn't, embarrass you right there, she might just not, see you again because she feels like you can't, take care of her because she's been conditioned to think you're supposed to be able to take care of me. You asked me out, so you're supposed to do that. You know what I'm saying? So that is toxic. That is some toxic behavior. But again, because we've been conditioned from a little girl growing up, that's what you're supposed to do. Cook, clean, take care of the household, take care of the kids, and that's it. That's all you need to be worried about. And if he can take care of you, you just sit up, make sure the house and the kids good.
Did we have a comment?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Well, Miss Nancy Spencer said, I personally wouldn't have a problem with that. Monique also said she agrees. She would not have a problem with that.
So I want to stick to something you said about the woman deciding not to see him again because she feels like he can't take care of him. I feel like the world doesn't consider the same thoughts and concerns that a woman has for their potential husband are the same thoughts and concerns that a man can have for their potential wife, as he alluded to earlier.
Correct.
If you can't even put in on this meal, how can I trust you with my child? You know what I mean? Like
my house, my car.
You know what I
Great
mean?
question.
A job.
So I think and that's one of the things in terms of, or as far as the world not protecting the man.
Yes,
like
yes.
The
They
man,
don't care.
They don't care about us.
They don't care that we care. They don't care that we care.
Like
But y'all don't. I mean, boys don't really sit and have those mature conversations before you really go out with someone because initially,
because they're boys.
When you see someone, you're physically attracted to them. Okay,
No, they won't.
We already know what you're thinking about. So at that point in time, if you can get past that and actually think about what's up here and see if I can take care of your babies, I'm just going to continue to play the role that I'm going to play because you're not going to challenge me to change. You're not going to challenge me to be any different or to think any different outside of what I've been conditioned to think. You know what I'm saying?
Real quick. So you feel like unless a boy decides that he wants to challenge a female to be more evolved, that the female doesn't have to be evolved?
No, I didn't say that.
But
the woman's gonna be evolved in this however she wants to be evolved. But what I'm saying is, when it comes to those type of conversations, to where we're splitting the bill, men don't or boys do not have those mature conversations because initially that's what they're going to be thinking. Now, what she does is whatever she does. But in order for that woman to start having those open conversations or to have splitting the bill or splitting whatever conversations, those people need to really have those type of conversations. I can't unless that woman is already unless she's already understanding and capable of what she is or what she wants.
She's gonna ride the same wave he riding.
Correct.
But so the point is, so yes, the conversation needs to be had, but it doesn't only have to be initiated by the boy.
Right.
The female can initiate the conversation as well if necessary. So we're trying to get it to a point where it's now balanced. Like either the female can initiate it or the guy can. But it shouldn't be all on the boy to have not. Right. But I do agree that they do need to.
I'm not saying that they don't. I do agree with you with the balance. But I mean, we know that females or girls talk all the time.
Yeah, and y'all are already in a position to receive. So if you're not gonna bring it up, I'm just gonna ride it anyway. Like females are have in their mind, I want to help or I want to contribute. Yes, but I don't want to make him feel less than a man, so I'm gonna retreat back and let him do it. But she can still identify that is toxic because I bet you want him to help you with the kids, clothes, cooking when you got a job as well. And that's also stuff that wives don't bring up because they don't want to ask because they feel like they're taken away from the manhood. So like Aaron said, we need to get to the point to where it's more balanced because it creates so much turmoil and chaos in relationships and marriage. Females not asking for help around the house, which makes them resent their husband. Females not asking to contribute to the husband because they don't want to take away from his masculinity, and now we both just harboring these cries for help, and then just acting like it's all good.
Right.
That's toxic.
It is. Okay, some more comments.
Somebody had a long.
Yes, further down. Aquanette, she said that she wouldn't have a problem with it. Aretha said at least he addressed it before y'all left.
Correct.
Very good.
Correct.
She also said, I don't have a problem with footing the bill. Nancy said that she doesn't mind paying or helping because although that's the way we think it's supposed to be, doesn't take away from the fact that men can be in financial strains as well. They have bills too.
Yes, thank you.
Like the world don't consider none of that.
They don't protect us, bro.
They don't consider none of that. Who said that?
Nancy.
Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you.
Also
they don't consider none of that.
They have bills too. Could have been bad timing. And also, just because he's the man doesn't mean he should dive right in and start investing his money right away. He works just as hard for his as I do mine.
Is there a way to teleport her here?
Can I get you? Can I pick her up and
like, is that possible?
Grab her?
Monique said, now, if he invited me out to eat, I would expect him to handle the bill and vice versa.
So with that, I get, if I'm asking you out and possibly inconveniencing you, okay, I won't say inconvenience. Mm-hmm. If I'm asking for your time, mm-hmm. then I'm okay with paying for that. Now, if we, what?
What do you mean you're okay?
So, like if I come to you and I'm offering to take you out on a date, mm-hmm. then I'm okay with buying you a meal to, whatever.
So that's what I just said. But y'all argue that.
No. I didn't. No, I'm saying just for me, I'm okay with it.
Oh, okay.
Now, that's not to say other guys can't still have the conversation before heading out, to said meal or said date. Mm-hmm. But it still should be okay even if I ask you and I decide to still have the conversation, okay, how are we going to split this? Now, just for me, I'm okay with paying it. But if a woman asks me out, are you paying for said meal?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I understand what you're saying, but I feel like for me, that doesn't even the playing field because let's just look at a general basis, right? The odds of a female asking a guy out is a little higher in our time, but we still outweigh them in those odds, right? Most of the time, the guy's going to pursue the girl and ask them out. So it would still leave us on the paying end, but like Aaron said, when the event happens that the female asks the guy out, she doesn't have that same mentality that you just said I'm okay with.
Right.
So I don't want to give them that as a premise because they're not going to use it like you're using it. Mm-hmm. Because you're saying that if I ask you out, I'm inwardly okay with paying for it, but I can also have the conversation as well. If the roles are reversed, if a girl do ask the guy out, they still not okay with paying for it. They just now finna get a free meal.
Yeah.
Take me out.
And I've actually known females personally who just hit a man up just because she knows she can get a free meal out of him. And I'm like, bro, it ain't no way this man letting himself get dogged out. And like
how's he getting dogged out?
Because he's actually how?
I'm saying there's probably some type of transaction there. She calls him for
she
the food.
Only calls him for food. But I'm saying this guy is actually interested in her, but she's not allowing.
She only wants him for food.
You know what I mean? Okay. Like you're only using him because you know he has feelings for you. He's willing to do this for you, but you don't want anything else but a free meal. That's toxic.
It is. I agree with you. I thought you were going somewhere else with that.
No.
Because I felt like
it's not even. Like I can't give them that if I initiate it, I'm responsible because that's a mandate that the world puts on a man. If a man says something, they expect us to be fully responsible for what we said. But if a female say something, they not responsible though, and it's okay if they're not. So I ain't getting you that.
So like for me, like the first initial date, if I ask, I'm okay with paying. If we start to go on subsequent dates, though,
like you in my pocket,
you know what I mean? Like
this may not even work.
I might not make rent this month, yo. Like if we're continuously going out, then at some point,
you
like
gotta say something.
Like the story I told you about the girl I was dating at one time.
Oh, yeah.
We was going on multiple dates, and then I couldn't get her to buy me some frozen yogurt.
You in the negative with me, yo. And we gonna keep tabs. Let's keep on.
I had to cut her off, yo. Like frozen yogurt. You couldn't buy me some. You just got $100 tip at work that day, son.
That's why I'll be on. That's
wild.
But like Aaron got bills too, though.
Okay.
Like we're gonna have to do a session on the world don't care about us.
They don't.
They do not care about us.
Somebody said they don't care about y'all.
You know what? Before we get into the next one, because I got a good characteristic that we talked about earlier. Did we got some?
Tashimi has said that's sad.
Couldn't buy me no frozen yogurt.
Evangelist Alicia Moore said, "If I say can we go out to eat, you say sure, then I got the cost of the meal."
What?
You pick her up.
Hey, let me get her. What? She need to raise the rest of you women.
Then she said that's not true. I think she was adding on something else, but she just added that. But that was it.
She said it's not true.
Yeah, I think she was maybe talking about something else she said. But that was her initial comment.
Okay.
Was if she asks, I'll pick it up. I'll check out from you.
So to be honest though, at no point do I want the woman to foot the whole bill, because that's not what I'm looking for.
What do you want?
No, let me explain. Let me explain. At no point do I want the woman to foot the whole bill. If I was on a dating scene and I asked that question, I legit probably had already decided to pay for the whole thing. But I'm trying to see where your mind is at to see if you're even willing to help me. So when I say, hey, how we gonna do the bill? I'm looking for those micro expressions, them eyebrows, the head jerks, the body language. I'm looking for all that.
The hesitation.
No, I didn't really bring my Oh, you wasn't even prepared.
So it was nice to meet you. Open the door for it.
So even if I decided to go ahead and do it, I'm looking to see, because when we're dating, right, we're trying to see what I would bring to the table, right? So if I come up with a water bottle with a little bit of water in it, right, you shouldn't come to that table and be like, oh, water. Ma'am, it was only a little bit in there when I brought it to the table. Whatever you got in your bottle, you either put it beside mine or open my bottle and pour it in there. So now we got a lot of water. Don't come to the table thinking that, ooh, water, I'm thirsty. I thirst as well. Which goes back to the world don't care about how we think or how we feel. They only want what they can get from us.
I don't think that's true.
I think some females are brought up in the mentality of, they're brought up under the sponsorship mentality instead of the partnership mentality. Ooh. They're looking to be sponsored or have someone sponsor them in their endeavors versus partnering with someone and bringing something of equal value to the table.
Say that again, because they didn't hear you in the back. Get it one more time.
Let me hear that one more time.
One more time. Give me that.
So some females are brought up under the sponsorship mentality instead of the partnership mentality. They're looking for someone to sponsor their endeavors, whether it be feed me, get my nails done, stuff like that. Instead of partnering, looking for someone to partner with, meaning bringing something of equal value to contribute to furthering what we decided to build together.
You can end the video. That's it. There's no other reason. There's no other rationale. That is all. And the fact that boys and males are brought up believing that as well. So I believe I have to be your sponsor, but that also creates these Ted Bundys and these rapists because now I'm sponsoring you, and when you sponsor somebody, they are providing something for you. Like the people that sponsor the NBA players, you got to wear my logo on your chest or on your shoes. Yep. Like now you owe me, and then females get this mentality, oh, I don't owe you nothing. Man, you got all my brands on. Like you mine.
You are in my
house. You are mine.
Oh, so we at mine. I thought it was our.
Crazy.
Paying for everything, yo. I'm paying for everything, yo.
You had to be sitting on that all day, bro. That's good.
It probably was.
That's good.
Like, let me sit here and think about how.
That's good. That's the perfect. The women believe it. I mean, the women endorse it, and we believe it. So now I feel like I'm less than a man if I can't sponsor you, and then you make me feel like I am. Oh, you can't even pay $40 for a meal, instead of me being mature enough to be like, okay, I'm looking for a partner. So let me check to see if she gonna partner with me. Hey, the meal $40. Are you contributing anything? Oh yeah, I got 20 on that. Boom, I found me a partner.
I feel like people that do have that mentality, as far as you wanting to, or you a man looking for, his mate or his wife. I feel like if you really are looking for that person, then you are looking for someone that is already on your level. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
they ain't coming no other way.
Right. So I feel like if a man really has conversations and not, immediately go into, sex or anything sexual, like really, let's just talk.
Let's talk.
Because me personally, I'm turned on by intellect. Like I'm intrigued by that. So I feel like if more males would have that conversation, or if they would look for their match, then they probably wouldn't even need to have that convo as far as, are we going to split the bill? It should be understood at that point, because you found somebody that can take care of themselves just like you can take care of yourself.
And now we can take care of each other.
And now we can do it together. But when you have two toxic people in this one situation.
Make sure they hear you.
You preaching, baby.
Make sure they hear you, yo.
You dropping bars.
I'm sick of y'all. I feel like if you have two toxic people in a relationship, there's really no room for growth. There's really no room for those big boy questions. There's really no room for those big girl questions, because again, as he stated, she's brought up to think that you are supposed to be sponsored. You're supposed to be taken care of. Make sure that you can learn how to do these things. And then, like you said, the young boys and males of the world, they're going to believe that this is what you're supposed to do. Right.
Just chilling out money, yo. Writing the big checks that we take pictures of.
Huge, but let me show you how crazy this is, because check this out, right? So say I got that sponsor mentality and you got that that receiving it. Okay. Yeah, the receiving. So your determining factor of continuing your time and energy into this date is whether I can pay for a $40 meal, right? You make that decision off that. I can get $40 from my mom and be living in her basement. So, because we never had the conversation, your determining factor is easily met. Hey, man, can I borrow $40? You gonna pay for the meal? I got it, baby. Don't worry about it. Ooh. Oh, in your mind, he the one. Son live with his mom in the basement.
So can't take care of
himself. But because he had $40 for one meal, he's sent from God. God answered them prayers. That's foolishness.
Oh, you worth the second day.
That's foolishness.
You worth.
But the guy who had $1,000 in his bank account and he coming with a partnership mentality. Thank you so much for that. He trying to see what's in your bank account without asking you to see that. Okay, I'm gonna take 20 out of mine, and if she can't contribute to 20, then I'm not gonna let her leech, because that's what it is at that point. Leech off of me, because I'm not gonna be in a deficit and she gonna be on a come up. And now you're a leech, and we supposed to be partnership. Right. That's foolishness. I can get $20 from my mom.
You can.
Now what? That whole concept is flawed.
But you gotta be careful with that, because if you can pay for $40, you can pay for another $80 meal. Now you got to go get $80 more from your mama because you capping. But just be honest from the jump. If that particular female, if that's how she thinks, or if that's her mentality, then instead of him trying to match something that he can't do, that might not be for you. That might not be for you. And ma'am, he might not be for you. Maybe you need to find somebody that can match the energy that you're looking for. You see what I'm saying? So if he start off with this little $40, she gonna probably get excited. She gonna probably be like, oh, he got money. So now I'm gonna test him again. I need some shoes at this point. You see what I'm saying? And when you can't keep up at that point because of the mentality that she has,
I'm glad you said that. So to avoid that process, and we clearly see that he's borrowing money from mom just to portray his image, wouldn't it be a good idea to download into the female to have that conversation beforehand? Because at this point, you can be wasting time. Like, just say you go through 10 guys, and every last one of them borrowing $40 from their mama. That's at least 2 or 3 months of your life you've wasted, when you could have stopped every last one of them before going to that first or second or third date where they can borrow money from these people and say, hey, let's sit down and have a conversation. What are you bringing to the table? Because I'm bringing independence to the table. Do you have the ability to be independent? Well, what do you mean? Well, where do you live? Well, I live with my mom. Are you helping her take care of her? Do you got a job? Do you got this and that? What's going on? Oh, no, I just live with my mom. Oh, well, this ain't going to happen. So now you'd avoided the first date, going to tell your friends, oh, girl, he got this, posting on Facebook, oh, girl, blah, blah, taking pictures, blah. Second date, he done borrowed from his cousin. Oh, girl, blah, blah, blah. Your life is just going on because you can't get time back. Third date, boom, he ran out of money. Oh, man, he a buster. Next guy, jump right into it again. Same thing. Oh, girl, blah, 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 so forth, so on. Second date, third date, fourth date. He got a lot of cousins to borrow $40 from. Boom. All right, you gone. Like, how about females sit down and have those conversations as well? Like Aaron was saying, don't leave it up to, well, if he don't do it, I'm not required. You are required because you're required to manage your time, your energy, and your resources before you add it to somebody else's.
That's true. And we have a lot more women out here that have the independent mentality to where they probably could sit down with somebody who couldn't afford a $40 meal because she's so grounded within herself. She probably won't mind paying for this, meal or whatever because he can't or she wants to or whatever the reason may be. I feel like we do need I feel like more women do need to have that mentality of, again, just finding your match, finding somebody that you feel can provide to you, not just financially, but all the other aspects as well. And when we start having that mindset, we'll slowly start coming out of those toxic behaviors because we're challenging ourselves on each level.
Every situation we meet is like, okay, let's, before we get into all the other stuff, wasting our time, what are we legit bringing?
We really need to talk, to be honest with communication, even, and we're not even together. But if we can't even hold a conversation, why am I going to cut out a set amount of time for us to go out to eat?
People don't value their time.
That part,
that goes back to, we had the conversation earlier in the week about how women consider, can a man take care of me to be a standard. That doesn't need to be a standard. The standard needs to be, what can you do for me mentally? What can we do for each other?
Because I can take care of myself.
Right. I've been making it so far.
Right. I can pay my own bills, but
can we have a conversation? Can you teach me something that I didn't know about myself? Can I teach you something that you didn't know about yourself? We need to have those kind of standards. I think we have a lot of.
We rolling on some.
A lot of people tuning in today.
Oh wow. Okay.
We're gonna have to pay somebody to do this. We gotta put somebody on payroll. For internship.
Right.
We gotta pay them.
Okay. So, Miss Evangelist Alicia, she was clearing up the statement of it's not true. She was saying, I was saying it's not true that we don't care about the man. We care. Those who don't discern it and move on.
Correct. I agree with that.
Tashimia said right. She also said exactly. Some people just want to take. Tashimia also said that's a word. Miss Alicia said, Adrian, those are the spoiled brats who always want and never giving. She also said, you're right. Oh shucks, now that's the truth. She said true. Tashimia said right. Evangelist said that's right. Joshua put up an emoji for right on target. Miss Alicia said absolutely, me too. Once you show me it's sexual, I'm out. I agree.
I mean, you get that anyway. They make dolls for that.
She
right. It ain't even much that deep. It's easy these days.
Library is like
they got pocket. You can pull out your pocket and get one.
She also said, where did it go? She said no room at all. Tashimia said, now that's true. Y'all being on the same page is very important. Communication is major. Definitely agree. She also said small-minded females look at that as gold, not knowing he's not on the level she thinks he is. Agree. Miss Alicia said that's right. Be honest from the start. We got some fire emojis from Miss Alicia. Tashimia also said communication. We got to have that. Tashimia said also very true. Miss Alicia said this is what many fail to do because they're caught up on that, what you like, how you dress, what car you're driving, and they make the assumption you're it.
Keyword, assumption. All that belong to my cousin.
She also said conversation is a must, definitely. Renisha said this is good to me.
Y'all know what though? I'm finna say something. Do y'all know what's toxic for a female?
What?
When you ask a female, what do you bring to the table? These are the most toxic statements a female could ever say. I can cook, I can clean, And what's the other one? I'm gonna leave it with that. Cooking and cleaning. Mm-hmm. When you ask a female, what can you bring to the table? And she say, I can cook, I can clean. That ain't the one. Because cooking and cleaning are basic fundamentals of living. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Like, that's not bringing anything to the table. That's basic stuff. Anybody can learn how to cook. You can watch a YouTube video. Step 1, boil water. Step 2, get a measuring cup. Pour. Like, that's not bringing anything to the table. So, can we stop specifically identifying females with cooking and cleaning?
I mean, when they're conditioned from childhood that's what you're supposed to be doing to make sure you keep this man, is make sure you can clean his house and cook him some food and take care of his babies. When that's conditioned and beating your head for so long, when you are probably asked that question, then you made sure that you
think you just
I got it covered.
So I'm telling you,
I
got it.
These are the same chores that once we get into a relationship and we get married, you're now resentful of me because I don't help you do those things, right? That's what you led with. You led with, I can cook and I can clean, so I'm not finna take that from you. But now you telling your friends and you going to counsel telling them I don't help you around the house. Those were your attributes that you brought to the table, as if I didn't have those as well. Which goes back to the video from last week. If it's something that we can both do equally, let's not assign them so it doesn't create resentment, regret, and remorse. So my thing is now, we can move past those mediocre or those mundane chores. Can you effectively communicate with me? Are you emotionally intelligent? Do you have the ability to not only listen to what I'm saying, allow me to speak until I'm done speaking? Control your tone while I'm speaking. Respect what I say, even if you don't agree with it. Your ability to have emotional control over us being in a situation, but still being able to function as an adult. Being calm in a panicked situation. Like, these are qualities that need to be brought on the table. Give me some of that. Because cooking and cleaning, they got services that I can call to cook and clean. So let's wipe that off this table and get down to what you actually bring. So if you're honest with yourself, and females, if you're honest with yourself, every female watching this, I want you to answer this question for me. Say we're the men, right? We're walking up to you and we ask you this question. And I want your complete, honest answer. What do you bring to the table in a relationship? And don't use finances, don't use cooking or cleaning. Go.
While they're thinking, we could read some comments.
Okay. So Tashimia said, very basic things you're going to have to do anyway. Miss Alicia said, we were taught a way to a man's heart is through his stomach. We are taught to cook for him, etc. But single women raise sons to do the same thing. Boom. So that's nothing to bring to the table. Tashima said, hello to that. Respect. LaTiffany said, 23, married, husband provided. Now he ended the marriage. I learned about my weakness after he ended. I can see what was missing. Round table equals helpful. Equal yolks are essential.
What do you bring to the table in a relationship as a woman? Don't use cooking, don't use cleaning, don't use finances.
We have one that answered, Renisha. She said the table.
So that's finances. You went and bought a table?
No, she's saying what she brings to the table is the table.
What is the table? What does that mean? What do you mean by bringing the table? Is that
Miss Alicia said patience, good communication, loyalty, respect, humility.
Okay.
Just to name a few.
Okay.
You see, Miss Alicia.
What do you mean by bringing the table? Because in my mind, you went and bought a table, and it's finances.
That can mean everything. Everything that's laid out
list
on
them.
the
No,
table.
ain't no general listing here.
We just
like
talked
my girl
about
said,
making an
did.
assumption.
Ain't no assumption. What do you bring to the table?
Tashima said growth.
In what area? What's up? Let's get down to the details.
Ooh, that sounds hard.
Growth in what areas? Yashimi, who?
Tashima.
Tashima. Growth in what specific areas? Let's get into the details. People just be right. We be just like throwing out general stuff and like we be like, okay, cool. No. Let's get to it. Give me details.
Run them.
Run them numbers.
Nah, I'm liking this one.
Oh, y'all ready?
I want these lists.
Okay, Jeremy Jerome Taylor said, I can cook and clean for myself. I need someone to help me help us better ourselves.
Boom.
Okay, then.
What areas would you like the female to help y'all better yourself in?
That's
details,
a very good
please.
question. That's a good question.
What areas would you
because
like?
there are some young boys and males out there in the world that just feel like I can do it. I don't want you to help me. Let me deal and process with these emotions.
And then
on
he
my
depressed,
own.
smoking dope and drugs, trying
Right.
to get his life together. I need details.
All right, Miss Alicia said the things a woman shall be or shall bring should be of the spirit, no fleshy things or material things.
Correct. Them intangibles. That's what I want. I want something I can't reach and grab.
And touch.
Jeremy, I want the details of the areas you would like a female to bring to the table. And females, I want what you bring to the table. Don't use finances, don't use cooking, don't use cleaning, and sure enough, don't use vagina. We can buy that at a sex store.
Again.
Legit!
They making them now.
They make them pocket size.
They do. Cora Jones said consideration, honesty, truthfulness, love, and care.
When you say love, in what aspect do you mean?
Miss Cora, in what aspect do you mean when it comes to love?
Give me details.
Yeah.
Get down
This
to
is
it. Let me
it's
move
crazy
this
because
out the
it's
way.
like the more we talk about it, the more like it's just constantly like just back and forth. It's like I could talk about what the woman can do and what she can improve on or to not be toxic, but then now she's evolved. But she still got this toxic man. So now she got to try to, either work with him and try to get him out of his toxic behaviors, and they communicate and they actually come together to not be toxic. And now y'all went from, 2 toxic people to 0.
And
but
now we
again,
got a lot of other stuff to work on.
correct, but
And
now
y'all
it's
talking
like
about
it's
married
hard
more
because
than one time.
you've been doing it for so long. So now it's just like, why we gotta change? Like, why we've been doing this? Like, why do we have to fix
We
it?
gotta get out of it.
All right. LaTiffany said, strengthen each other, encourage each other. Let him know he is a king. Therefore, he will know how a queen is to be cared for.
Okay, so wait. Let's stay right there. When you say encourage each other, what areas specifically as a female would you like your man to encourage you in? And also, in what areas would you specifically tell him he's a king in? Don't just throw out, oh, you a king. Oh, you a king. King of what? Because kings have property, they have land, they have subordinates, they have all type of stuff going on. So give me areas. Don't just give me blanket statements. I need specifics.
Okay. Miss Evangelist Alicia, she said, women should study Proverbs 31.
Yeah, there's a lot of good specifics in that verse.
Cora said, willingness to accept your flaws and work through life's ups and downs with you, my definition of love.
Okay.
So that was
love
Cora giving
unconditionally.
right. So she was giving you that explanation for that.
Okay.
And then,
So basically, in spite of what comes up, she's willing to work through it with you instead of just giving up.
that's what I understand.
That's a good trait.
All right. So Tashima's responding to the growth. She said growth in self. With my husband, we have teamwork. We balance each other out. We build each other emotionally. I'm loyal to him and faithful. I make sure he knows he is appreciated and cherished.
So, Tashimia, could you name 3 specific areas that you hone in on when you're giving him appreciation that does not include finances or physical providing for you? I need 3.
All right. Monique said compassion, a sense of humor, trust, mutual respect, positivity.
Okay, cool.
Tiffany said, what areas that interest him or vice versa? I think she was responding to something y'all asked her. She said encourage each other in building.
Building what? We talking a house, communication skills, emotional capabilities, building what specific areas? And I'm not trying to be aggressive with you all, but I want you all to understand that we have to stop just making blanket statement, because it can be interpreted in any way. Like when we say the man is the provider, that means in my mind, as long as I can provide $40 for this meal, I'm a man. No.
Be specific.
Be specific.
Y'all, they do this. So just work with it. It pushes to the greater good.
It
There
does.
you go.
I guess.
No.
I guess. All right, so Jeremy said, my wife helped me think outside of being a gangster disciple, with teaching me to listen more than I talk, and she pushed me to get closer to God. And she became my biggest accountability person.
Boom.
I like that,
There you
Jeremy.
go. Come through, Jeremy.
Okay.
Hey, that's my boy, Jeremy Bowen.
This is Jeremy Jerome Taylor.
I think this is my homegirl, sister, or my brother.
Well, I like his response.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that
He sure was a thug out here in these streets. Hey, he was a thug out here in these streets.
okay, he said
He was definitely a thug in these streets.
right.
My name is Adrian Porter, and I prove his message. He used to be about that life.
But I like the fact of what he said. She became his biggest accountability person. Like I feel like some boys or males need that. Like they need a woman who is going to challenge them and push them. Like not just let you get your way. Not just, she's not going to disrespect you. She can have a conversation with you and make you see some things that you need to be seeing without disrespecting you or humiliating you. So I feel like when a man does something wrong and he has a good woman by his side, to not ridicule him, but to help him learn from that. Mm-hmm. Like, this is a mistake you made. Let's talk about it. Let's learn from it so we ain't got to come back here.
But it's the thing. Everything you said comes with a woman bringing effective communication skills to the table.
Right.
If you don't have effective communication skills and you just cooking and cleaning, it's not going to work.
Yeah, I'm going to misinterpret all
I'm going to misinterpret all that because it's going to sound like this. You know good, nigga. How you... It all that? What is this y'all be doing? Let's talk about this. And this right here. What is this when y'all do that too? But then with that, I want them details. What y'all bringing to the table?
Tashima said, I listen to him, understand him, respect him. Jeremy said, JJ Taylor, that's me.
Oh, yeah. I'm boy.
And then Miss Alicia said, that's right.
Where my women at? I need details of what they bringing to this table.
I guess they typing. I don't know.
What? Oh, okay. So in case y'all didn't hear the question.
They've been answering though. Like what I've been saying, the compassion with what Monique was saying.
I feel like we had more women before I rule cooking and cleaning and vagina.
Because he was asking for specifics from the women.
I wanted specifics from their response.
They could be thinking. Because they probably haven't had nobody ask them to push beyond the
okay. Yeah. I will give you a minute. I need some details.
Oh my God. Melvin is here.
Oh, what up?
He said, just say they self. Just they self is what they bring it to say.
What y'all bringing to the table, baby? Y'all always asking this. I want to see it.
I got you, Miss Alicia. I told him that you gave it. LaTiffany said, building and growing, building each other up according to their purpose.
Okay, so could you name 3 areas that you can help build a man up in? Outside of purpose, outside of helping him find a job, give me 3 other areas that you can help build a man up in.
What you looking for?
I want details.
I just want to know, like, what specifically are you?
Are you bothered that I'm ripping away the generals?
I'm not. I'm trying to figure out what you're looking for. Like
I have no specifics. Okay. I want ideas. Okay. I'm literally.
So what do you think?
Ideas.
What do you think are some areas a woman could, or your wife? What has she helped you with in some areas as far as growing as a man?
I will answer that, but I'm not going to give the answer to them. I want them to think of that. I want them to give me the answer.
All right. Tashima said, "This is good because it's opening my eyes to what more I can do."
That's what I want, baby. Unlock them chains in that mind.
Bro.
Stop just throwing out these general statements.
Melvin
I'm gonna
said,
build you up. The freak we gonna build a birdhouse?
You gonna get out here and build this house? No, that's a man's job. What?
What we building?
"What?
We're gonna build an empire. You watch Empire on BT. What you gonna help me with, yo?
What would you bring to a woman? Like, how are you going to bring her out of that toxic state? What are some behaviors that you notice in a toxic woman that you would bring to the table or help her come out of that? Because at the same time, again, women, all we do is talk. We talk about our emotions, we talk about our feelings, we talk. It might not be effective. Calm down. Relax.
Ooh, she saw it on my phone.
Yes.
Let me finish.
Wait. It may not be effective.
Let me finish talking first. What you just said. When I finish speaking, then you can speak.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is it might not be effective.
Okay.
But they talk. They try to, either pull some information or talk to their, partner or whatever the case may be. Women do that. They talk. Now, whether that, particular boy is going to respond and give her what she's looking for when she's asking these questions is a completely different story. But again, women, I feel, are in the business of the constant, talking to their man, trying to do for their man. What would a man do to bring her out of that toxic, state? Or again, we're talking about toxic femininity. These are some things that she's been conditioned since birth to learn. What could a man that is fully up there that can help her, what are some things that he can do in order to bring her out of that?
Before I answer that, I want to deal with something. And by no means am I trying to thwart the conversation, but I only want to focus on toxic femininity.
Right, that's
so
what
we
are.
That's
what we're focusing on.
Hold on. Okay. So you're saying that females talk. Okay, we talk. I get that. But let me explain this. Unless your talking has specific components, it's more deadly than it is helpful. Let me give you the components. You can talk all day, but if you don't have the proper words to say, instead of cuss words, you need to use regular words because that can deter an entire conversation. Right. So we can't promote we talk as if it's a badge of honor because you're using that as a shield.
No, I'm not.
Let him finish.
We need a little patience on that one too.
Let you finish.
Give me a little patience too. Okay. Second thing, you can talk all day, but if you don't have self-control, when I start to offer my side, you're going to continue to talk, which becomes more deadly than good. That's two components. Number three, you can talk all day. But if you don't have emotional intelligence, your talking is going to fluctuate depending on the sentence that you're saying and how it makes you feel, which makes the conversation more toxic than helpful. That's three. Number four, you can talk all day. But if you don't have the ability to understand that the person you're talking to doesn't process what you're saying like you do, that conversation is going to become more deadly than good. So once again, you cannot throw out we talk as if that's going to suffice because it is not. I gave you four.
Can I add another? Let me get a fifth one.
Tag in.
Let me get a fifth one.
Tag him in.
Let me get a fifth one.
Wait.
We can talk. But if you do not have the ability to properly construct your words in a way in which it can be received and understood, you're really not talking.
So if I'm checking, okay.
So
thank you for your 5 points.
There's 5 things that just destroyed. We talk all the time.
I'm not using that as a badge of honor. I'm just saying women talk when it comes. Again, it might not be effective, but they communicate. And with the 5 points that you just laid out for me, again, I know those things are there. I see that. But a lot of the times when a woman does try to adapt or maybe change how she talks to him so that he can receive it better, it's still not being received in a way that she can get through to make some type of dialogue or to take away some of those toxic behaviors out of each other. What?
Because we can talk, and in her mind, I have emotional control. I'm not yelling, but you're still cursing. Oh, we can talk. Okay, I may not be yelling, I may not be cursing, but I'm really not forming these words right. I really don't have a clear understanding of what I'm trying to relate. I just know what I feel. So,
speaking with my emotions,
you're saying we can talk, but I'm literally telling you that your talking means nothing if these components of the talking is not inside the talking. Right. So we're not even using the fact that, we do talk as if it's any defense for the toxic femininity that comes from the talking. Right. It's null and void. Your talking, it means nothing. I would rather you be quiet than to talk with all of that stuff.
All of that, with all of those components.
not there. I'm going to make a cake. You got flour? Nope. You got eggs? Nope. You got butter? Nope. What you got? A bowl. You gonna make a what? You gonna make a what? You gonna wish? You gonna make a sandcastle?
You gonna wish this cake here? Like, what are we doing?
I'm sick of y'all. All right, Melvin said.
This is good.
Melvin said, he said, hell, we bring the table and the food.
Exactly. No, that's what they expect us to bring. That's what they expect us to bring.
I think that's what he was saying.
They expect us to bring that. Y'all gonna have to put something on the table, dog.
Nicholas Lewis said, part of being a good woman is being able to add polish to a man's purpose.
Okay, hold it. Stop. You couldn't have thought she was going to get away with that. No.
She was finna go.
No, son, they finna get away with that. That's my homeboy. So listen, Nicholas, when you say add polish to his purpose, name 3 areas that you would like a woman to polish in your purpose. You could never thought he was going to get away with that.
Miss Alicia said, spiritual self-esteem as the head. Tashima said, I motivate my husband to have a closer relationship with God. Latifany said, some men have mommy issues, helping them see beyond we married now. Nicholas said, I think purpose is the most important aspect of a man's life, period. That determines the value he adds to the world around him.
That is correct. I definitely agree with that.
Miss Alicia said again, build him up spiritually, emotionally, physically.
Hold it. Miss Alicia, I agree with those statements, but can you give me 3 areas of emotional building that you specifically can contribute to that man? Go
ahead. Monique said, good question, Jazz. Thank you, girl. Latifany said, wish you could allow conversation, building in areas of maturity, intellect, and authority.
Okay. Cool.
Miss Alicia said, listening to him is more than talking sometimes. And never throw anything that he shared with you that was personal back in his face.
Is Alicia married?
I agree.
She about to be married. If she ain't married, we're going to get her married today. Before the podcast ends, we're going to get her married today.
She's an evangelist, so...
I hope she's married, because somebody better wipe her up fast.
Let's see. She also said, women tend to talk a lot and haven't said anything that man understands.
We don't know what I'm saying.
You said a mouthful.
I said nothing.
Talking, bro. Just talking.
We know that. We
Clearly.
know that.
Just be talking our little post sales to death. Now we got to talk a special way for you to understand. I don't even understand.
Wait,
hold on.
All right, let me get back to Melvin.
Before we continue, we are about to address this.
I'm talking a special way.
I mean,
no.
My conversation has
to be
to where you can understand me. Now
so
that we're here. Now we gotta
so you don't even see what I'm about to come into? You don't even see it, yo.
We gotta talk in a special way because we asking for understanding.
So here's how I'm about to get you. So
you ain't. First and foremost, we don't get each other.
We finna get got.
We grow in this circle.
It's growing. It's all good for
so
growth.
Don't get got.
You burn a field to make the grass.
Here's how we about to help you grow. Then how about that?
Let's see first.
So, true or untrue, there was a point in our friendship, the 3 of us, where we addressed each other's ability to receive what the other person is saying based on how they were giving the information, correct? You brought that up as a concern of yours, saying how what you're saying may be good, but if you're not saying it in a way in which I can receive it, then I'm not going to receive it, correct? Mm-hmm. So you wanted...
he said correct.
Correct.
Thank you. So you wanted us to modify the way in which we were providing this information to you, just so that you were able to be in a place of receiving it, correct?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, correct. Okay. Correct. Go
so
ahead.
how is it that you are expecting that on our side, but now all of a sudden you want us to talk a specific way in order to?
First and foremost, I don't want you to modify anything. What I asked for was, since we're bringing it up, is the tone in which you give it to me. Like,
so I need to modify. That's what I'm saying. That's what that means.
Your passion and you yelling at me.
That's a modification.
Let me look up the definition of modified.
That's a modification.
Again, just like you said with cursing, I can't. You ain't gonna hear me if I'm constantly cursing because I talk. So if I'm talking and I'm cursing at you, you're not gonna hear me. So if you're talking to me and you're yelling at me, I'm not gonna hear you.
We understand.
But we can come to
we get it. But when I'm from you
again, just like how she stated, we would need to change the way we talk to you in order for it to be received. Whether I'm talking to you normal or not, you probably still ain't gonna receive it. So now I got to figure out another way to talk to you to where we can actually have a conducive conversation.
Which is what you asked of us. So let me tell you the definition of modified. Look at you getting all like this aggressive, Jasmine, right here.
Y'all bringing her back. You bringing her back.
So listen, modify the definition: make partial or minor changes to something, typically so as to improve it or to make it less extreme. So
you asked us to modify the way we give you information so that you can be more receptive. Yes or no?
No.
Yes or no?
No!
I said to talk or to bring the yelling out of it.
That's a modification.
Hold on. Let me read it again because you didn't hear me. You didn't hear me, yo. Modify. Listen to me. Let me change my tone so you can hear it, so you can receive it.
Really? Okay. So we're
gonna modify.
That's what we're doing.
We're modifying our tone.
But that's what we're doing.
Mm-hmm. That's what you asked of us.
Go ahead.
Bring the tone down, right?
Ahead.
That's what you said.
Go ahead.
Modify. Make partial or minor changes to something. So you wanted me to bring my tone from up here and change it to being down here, right? Typically so as to improve it so that you can now receive what I'm saying, or to make it less extreme so that we wouldn't be as passionate giving this information.
And you just said this a week ago.
Right.
So now what we're asking is, Miss, we talk. We're asking for those 5 areas to be modified into your talking so that we can receive it. And your statement was, now we gotta change the way we talk so you can receive it. You
I didn't even say it. The way that you just mimicked me, as you eloquently do each and every time. What I'm saying is there are women who do talk to their men. They talk to them probably obtaining to each one of those 5 areas that you listed. But it is possible that it cannot still be received. That's what I was going to
Okay, yeah, I definitely
That's
agree
what
with
I was speaking on. I didn't need modifications.
I agree.
I didn't need for us to do what we just did. What I'm saying is we have to still find ways outside of those 5 areas that y'all just listed to communicate. And at that point in time now, the woman is continuing to, be resentful, harbor probably more toxic behaviors because now she's thinking she's with a partner that is not hearing or receiving her.
We feel the same way though. I agree with everything you said.
That you didn't, but like you said, we're talking about toxic femininity.
I just want you to understand that the same way you feel like, okay, I've met these 5 requirements of conversation and he's still not receptive, flip it on the other side. We feel the same way. I'm meeting all 5 levels of communication and she's still not receiving what I'm saying. All I'm saying is we feel the same way sometimes.
And so I agree. I know.
Got to come to an understanding.
I know that.
All right. That's all we asking for.
That's a lot of
comments. Tiffany says sometimes we can't see our own flaws as individuals.
Correct.
Evangelist Alicia said women can meet an emotional need by asking a man what he thinks sometimes, and then tell him you value what he thinks. Let him know what he thinks means something to you, and you're not this Miss Know-it-all. Always gotta correct him. Says he's wrong, gotta shoot him down, and then he no longer want to talk to you because you have now disturbed him emotionally, and he sees you as an argumentative.
Is she married? I need to know if she married.
She also says, tell him thank you for the chores he does, even if you expect him to do them. Thank him. And then she also said, show him appreciation for all that he does.
Legit. Details, perfect. You
I
killed
agree.
every single one of those.
I agree, and I agree
You
with you, Miss
every
Alicia.
Is you married, baby? I need that answer.
Please. That's the last question.
The last question for you. Is you married?
She said, no, I'm not married.
Girl, y'all. Well, hopefully somebody watch this video and they're going to be in your inbox, baby. Dude going to be reading it like, oh, snap. Hey, Ma, I got one. Yep. Shoot.
I agree with her on that one.
Good details. What my other details? I asked for details way a while ago.
It's okay.
Talking about the table, like I said, they brought them, but I think when you kept asking for the
details.
3, it's
so I think here's another here's another characteristic that can be toxic. We discussed earlier when you were looking it up on internet.
We beat them.
Women, females hitting other males and then trying to play the woman card as if I'm a woman, you're not supposed to hit me.
Bruh.
Now, before I
Why you do that in front of him?
Before I go further, I just want to say I do not advocate violence for anybody, not a man and not a woman.
Get that disclaimer out.
Yeah.
Let me also say that I am not including men who abuse women unprovoked. We're not talking about them. I am only talking about women who provoke men, right? So it is this idea that a man is not supposed to hit a woman, but it has been made okay for a woman to put their hands on a man. And we made the statement earlier about the world doesn't protect the man, and we get that there are some women who feel the need to protect men. We're just talking about the way in which the world promotes it as a whole. The world doesn't promote protection over the man. The world promotes the idea that it's okay to abuse the man so long because he'll be all right. He's supposed to be able to take it, but the man dare not retaliate. And this is how we get domestic violence situations, because a woman thinking it's okay to put her hands on a man, but you might mess around and get the wrong man thinking, oh, I don't believe in that. Oh, don't put your hands on a woman. You hit me, I'm going to defend myself. We don't see that as self-defense. We see that as what happened.
You could have controlled that.
Right, exactly. But we're making this okay. And one of the ways we make it is okay is we see this in movies. A man says something or does something that a woman doesn't like, she retaliates by slapping him. We see it all the time, right?
Call the police and do the handcuffs.
Right. That we're promoting that it's okay to lash out or be violent towards a man should he do something that you don't like. That's not okay. Men shouldn't put their hands on a woman. Definitely. A woman should not put her hands on a man for any reason.
Definitely.
Unless it's for self-defense and vice versa. So I think that's another toxic trait, is that idea that I can't be touched because I'm a woman. No, ma'am. You can get these hands real quick.
Hands rated E for everyone. Hands rated E for everybody. But listen though. You know how I know everything you said is true? The fact that self-defense and a man doesn't even
register
sit well when I hear it.
It's not even registered.
It don't even sound right when I hear you say a man can't say self-defense when it pertains to a woman. I don't believe that that's true, but to hear you say this, like, why would we say that?
Right.
Like, that lets me know that I've been programmed to believe that we can't even say self-defense. And what's crazy is we all believe that there's a such thing called a natural reflex, right? If a bird is flying in your car window, you're going to blink, right? But if a guy gets hit and he hit a woman back, and then he be like, oh, my reflex. Nah, but you could control it.
Right.
It's a reflex.
And I think the problem is the world perceives that the man can inflict more harm on a woman than a woman can inflict on a man. The level of damage shouldn't matter. The fact that there was damage made is the problem. The fact that there was any attempt to harm or any act of violence occurred, that's a problem on either side. So you will definitely get less domestic violence situations. And again, we're not talking about men who abuse women unprovoked. Right. We're simply talking about those women who provoke men thinking that they're entitled to still not being able to be touched. That's a problem. The world needs to protect the man the same way that we protect the women. A boy's not supposed to hit a woman. Okay, well, let's protect the boy as well. A girl's not supposed to put her hands on a man either.
Prime example of this is like when men want to be playing and Swanna hit me or she hit me out guard. When I hit her back, she always complains about me hitting her back.
Yes.
And I'm like, but you hit me though. And she be like, well, you didn't have to hit me that hard, or you didn't have to hit me with that, or you didn't like. You don't control the response though. You control your actions, and you got to be willing to take whatever
the consequences.
So me, I take it above. If one throws some water on me from the sink, I get a whole bottle and pour it on her head.
Look,
keep the water out the sink on me, and I keep the water on the bottle off of you.
Look, Monique, it's gotten so bad. Like Monique will hit me with the pillow, and she already knows. She'll start taking off her glasses. Go ahead, bro. Because she know I'm coming with it. I'm coming with it. She got used to it.
Oh,
Miss Alicia said that she's not married, but she did learn from a failed marriage.
I see.
Miss Tashima said, true, because my husband would tune me out if I'm not coming correct.
Correct. I don't hear none of that. No, soon as that, to me, when your voice gets above my ear, I can't hear you.
They just start tuning out. They just start tuning you out.
White noise in the background.
She be like, yeah, you remember you told me that girl? Eventually, you become a
over there reading.
Wow. So
legit.
So
if it gets above my ear, I don't hear none of that.
So you just tune it out.
But you said the same thing though.
You eventually disappear. The higher you get, the smaller you get.
Right. Miss Alicia said, I learned from what did not work. It's not always the man.
You is a very mature, learned woman. I appreciate that.
Tiffany said, people shut down when they are not understood.
Legit.
Sometimes it's not worth defending the misunderstanding. I agree.
Legit.
Get exhausted. Tashima said, I don't play that one. She also said, I keep my hands to myself.
Yes.
Because if I hit somebody, I only expect to get hit back.
Exactly. Yes,
exactly.
Alicia said, but there are more men in abusive relationships with women because they know men has not the protection that women have. And she knows if you hit me and bruise me, I will call the police.
Right. Legit. A man is more likely to get charges put on him for putting his hands on a woman.
He ain't touched a damn time.
Like people think it's unorthodox for a man to be abused by a woman, but no, we really can be.
Just like
if we have it in the back of our mind, if we have it in the back of our mind, like yo, if I retaliate, the police is not going to see it that way. Like I'm going to jail, and she's not going to defend me.
She got one scratch. I'm in handcuffs.
So like now we in a battle. Like we just got to take this abuse that's coming to us, bro. Like
hand ready, bro. Look at that. Hand ready. Like a video game, yo.
Tiffany was responding to a response from Miss Alicia saying, that's what I'm learning coming out of successful 23 years of being married. He just decided he wanted to live his life. I respect that decision. It now allows me to see my flaws. I am grateful to God for this opportunity to get it right.
That's a mature mindset as well, being able to see the positive in such a detrimental situation. You, my sister, have made it to a level of emotional intelligence. That's another video for another time.
Miss Alicia said, my grandparents raised me to believe don't hit if you don't want to be hit.
There you
go. Monique responded to Miss Alicia saying, and that's the toxic femininity that needs to be addressed, corrected. Going back on what Miss Alicia said about the hitting and the abuse. Miss Alicia said, why would I want to hit my man or provoke him to violence? And yet I say, I love you. Love has me. Love has.
I'm saying, like, y'all know you can't be. Like, come on.
Love has many attributes, and provoking a man is not one.
It's not. And be all up in our face. Do something.
You said you'll kill it.
Oh, no, I'm saying, like, 9 times out of 10, unless the woman has taken some action to build her body up to be strong, we can naturally hurt you unless the guy is malnutritioned or in a weaker state, right? Why would you? It's like seeing a barricade walking in there slapping the bear upside the head. Why would you do that.
Yeah. Or like if I'm married to Layla Ali, I'm not provoking her in no way, yo.
Baby,
She gonna touch me up.
I know you said we can have sex, but do you mind if I touch you though? I want a foreplay before I start.
I don't want nothing to be misconstrued.
That was the last comment. Are you gonna respond to my question?
Oh, what's your question?
About the contributing.
What would I contribute to the woman? Okay, so for me, I would contribute one, emotional intelligence, which means if she's coming to me emotionally erratic, I use my emotional intelligence to decipher what she's trying to say versus what she's actually saying. Or if she's giving me all of that, I can help her interpret what she's actually trying to say if I'm bringing this level of emotional intelligence to this conversation. That's a big one. Because the world perpetuates the idea that it's okay for the woman to be emotionally erratic. So they bring all of that to us. So any guy who doesn't have emotional intelligence, that would destroy us. And I've been there in my younger stages of my walk becoming a man, because Swanee will come to me emotional about something and I grab exactly what she say and I swallow it without using my emotional intelligence to interpret, okay, she's mad because of something that happened last week. She's using last week to stretch over to this week, and now she's linking both of those, and now in her mind she's perpetuating an idea that I always do this. So my first mission with my emotional intelligence is to calm down for myself, to take in what she just said, and let's decipher this, right? So I said, well, hey, Swan, I understand you're mad, but I want you to understand that you're saying I always do this, but you only have two references, one from last Friday and one from this Monday. So let's only deal with those two, because when you make statements like you always do this, in y'all mind, it stretches all the way back since we've been together, which makes it a lot worse, which heightens the situation, and now we in total chaos. So if the only thing that I had to bring was emotional intelligence, that'll be enough alone to have an effective communication. And I'm going to just leave that one right there.
Okay.
Oh, you thought I didn't have no answer? You thought I didn't have no...
Thought someone coming with it, yo.
I wasn't finna give you bars.
I knew you would, which is why I asked.
I
thought there would be more, you know.
Oh, I mean, so
but we can keep it at
but let me get
intelligence.
I got you. Let me give you another one. So outside of emotional intelligence, I can bring logic to the conversation. So in the event that the woman comes home, once again, emotionally erratic, this conversation go everywhere. I'm tired of this. I'm finna quit my job. I can't stand this. Okay, with my emotional intelligence and my logic, I grab all 10 of those things and I digest them. I put them in order and I explain to her how all 10 of those things can be found in any job that she goes to. Which means now she's not going to up and quit, which puts our family in in a financial deficit. And now she can rationalize, well, what really is the problem? Are these things that I can control? Or are these things I can't control? And if it's something that I can't control, I need to let them go. And when I let those things go, my job now becomes more bearable. I now want to stay, which now keeps my family in the comfortable position that we are in. You want another one? Besides emotional intelligence and logic, I can give you one more.
Go ahead.
That's right.
I'm asking for 3 tonight.
You're right. All right. Another thing that I can bring to the table is consideration. So the woman, once again, comes with all these emotions. Now, if I don't have consideration for what you're saying, I'm going to automatically be like, oh, you're just emotional. You will be all right. You ever heard that before?
Yes, I have.
She just emotional. She'll be all right. That's because the man doesn't have consideration. Regardless of how emotional you are, I can at least consider what you're saying in order to then apply logic and emotional intelligence in order to have an effective communication about all these emotions you just poured into me, instead of sending you to bed with a "she'll be alright." What's up?
I like it. Thank you for
you thought
your
I was
3.
slipping.
You know I didn't think you was slipping. I just needed to know. I needed to hear your response.
You're right. I was asking them for 3, so I'll give you 3.
Correct. Oh. All right. All right, Miss Alicia, she got them fire emojis. She must have liked what you was saying.
What you did? I'm sorry.
Is that Selena?
No.
Is she
Miss Alicia said, women who provoke men has control issues.
Legit. Look at
this book real quick so I can see. Thank you. All right, so this is from Miss Cora Jones.
Okay. So we off the record at this point. We off the record
Well,
at this point.
just so I can make sure.
I'm talking about we ain't even discussed the other topic.
All right, so let's see. Miss Cora said, so first of all, let's be clear. I believe the narrative of this I believe the narrative of this is alluding that women have these expectations from men with nothing to offer but cooking and cleaning. I heard vagina being mentioned. Men are the ones with expectations with little or nothing to offer. For generations, women have carried the load of raising kids and upholding families, while most men drain women or are basically non-existent, especially in the Black community. Men want to be treated like God's gift to man without feeling the need to pay homage to the real gift. He who finds a woman finds a good thing, not the other way around. You say that we cuss or fuss or argue because women are tired. We are tired of being half-ass loved. We are tired of men who are half-ass men but want to be looked at as leaders. Tired of carrying the load. You ask, what can we bring to the table other than money and sex? I beg any man to tell me what he brings to the table to uplift his woman. Cora.
Let me just say this real quick.
Cora.
So we're not assuming we're not mad at anything you said. We're assuming that you're met with a man and not a boy.
Right.
So we on these sessions we like to differentiate the difference between a boy and a man. What you're talking about is the generation of women dealing with boys.
And we dealt with that on the last video.
Right.
So that whole thing we put on the video we did about the boys. So you're right.
Replace all of your men words with boys.
All of that you're saying is correct.
Nobody's mad at that.
Everything you're saying is correct. We agree with everything you're saying because we dealt with all of that in our video about a boy and a man. On this video, the reason that we're attacking or talking about females specifically is because this specific video is about the female this time.
And we're assuming that the female is met with a man and not a boy. Right. What are you bringing to the table with another man across from you?
Right.
That's what we're talking about.
And I addressed what does a man bring to the table like 15, 20 minutes ago. So we in total agreement with you. So yeah, we agree with everything you're saying. Just that whole comment should be on the video we did about boys.
Okay, we like it here too.
I just want
we just want to make sure
she knows we not mad.
All right, so Tiffany said, I was insecure. I was jealous. I was always thinking someone else was more important. I missed the mark. I did not see the values that he had. I did not build on his goals or interests. I like it. All right, Tashima said, my notebook getting full and I'm ready to use these tips.
Oh, go.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, and Miss Cora, she responded back to you saying that she agreed. She said, okay,
we're on the same team.
Nobody's mad none of that.
We're on the same team.
Boys and
men. We're on the same team. It's been a good one, haven't it?
Another characteristic I would like to talk about, and I'm interested to hear your perspective.
Jay don't like how we staggering them.
I'm fine. Don't come for me. Don't misperceive me because I ain't on camera.
I'm just. When Aaron said I got another tour.
My back was hurting. That's it. You know I've been having back issues. Calm down.
Okay.
So I am interested in hearing your perspective coming from a religious standpoint, or from a more spiritual standpoint. And I talked about this with my mom earlier, how men are perceived to be the leaders in the relationship. When I personally feel like the leadership role in a marriage, relationship, whatever the case, should be whoever is the most qualified to be the leader at the time, and not necessarily the man just because he's the man. Because just because I'm the man in the relationship doesn't mean I'm the most qualified to be the leader. How do you feel about that?
Let me tell you what I heard you say, and then I'll answer the question.
Okay.
I'll restate the issue.
Right. So, are you saying? Well, what I heard you say was just because the man is the man doesn't mean he's always qualified to take the lead on the specific task in the relationship. It shouldn't be all inclusive because he is the man. Because if there's a task at hand that the woman is more qualified to lead in, he should be willing to follow in that task at hand.
Right, and the woman shouldn't assume that just because I'm the woman, then I have to follow the man's lead, even though I'm more qualified to lead in this particular area.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
And so, I'm glad you brought it up. So, yes, I'm a minister. So, people definitely misinterpret this whole man being the head. Man is definitely the head, but that doesn't mean we got 5 tasks and the woman is more qualified in 3, but because the man is the head, he got to take all 5.
Yeah.
That's not what that means. Being the head could mean that you understand that if your woman qualifies for those 3, you give those 3 to her. That means you're mentally and spiritually capable enough to accept when you can't lead in that area. Now, that doesn't mean you sit back and kick your feet up and be like, oh, well, she got it. You reach out and ask her, hey, could you help me grow in this area? And then when she helps you grow in that area, you can then start to take the lead. But that doesn't mean you have to lead it every single time, because then if you lead it and you teach me how to lead it, we can now interchange that thing. And now the two become one flesh, and it's a partnership, and which is still a biblical principle. But the world has construed that, like you said, to believe that because the man is the head, he's supposed to take all the tasks, even if he's not currently qualified.
Right, and I think because some females are taught that or are brought up in that, they don't feel it necessary to work on these areas in their own life because they feel like, well, I have a man who's supposed to take care of these areas. Mm-hmm. Like the time when we asked Lavanya about why she doesn't perceive having the ability to protect as important, because she feels like, well, I have Adrian for that. Mm-hmm. He takes on that role, so I don't feel like it's necessary.
I don't even got to work on it.
Right, but we know at some point you're not always going to be around, so she's going to have to be capable of taking on that task or taking on that lead should it be necessary. So I feel like females shouldn't, or even just the world shouldn't promote or give females the idea that just because the man is the head or should be leading, that you shouldn't work on these areas to be able to have these attributes in your pocket and pull them out if necessary.
Especially if you're single. Like a lot of single women wait around to fill those holes when they get a man instead of working on those holes so that when they get a man, we can have them both together. So they're waiting around on protection or a provider. But you can be developing those skills so that when protection and provision comes, it's multiplied instead of just being added.
Because who's protecting you or providing for you
right now?
Right. You know,
you out here?
Nothing.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree as far as what you're saying. I really do feel like women should be able to choose the role that they want to be in instead of just allowing society to put you in a role because you're a woman.
Yeah, I agree.
So, yeah, that's my stance with that.
I think somebody's too long. 3.
All right. So Latiffany said this is good, helping. Miss Alicia said that's out of order, spirituality. Yeah. She said, I will be his help, but he's the head. I will come together in agreement on who should handle the task at hand. She also said that's right. Ask her. Tiffany said, this is where I believe in building up the man as a king.
Okay.
Sometimes the woman needs to step into her place as a helpmate. The man's role is as Christ loves the church, so his prayers will not be hindered. The king role is not to be overlooked. And then Miss Alicia said leadership roles in a marriage is interchangeable, but it does not take away the man role as the head in the marriage. Even if he's not leading in the task at hand, he's still the head.
And it's just that concept of head, they're making it all inclusive, just like they do with the word man. Because you call him a man, he thinks that, oh, I got all these things. And you don't. You don't have all these things. It takes time and situations and education and reading and life experiences. It takes a lot of stuff to get all this stuff that we're talking about. You're not going to wake up and be like, oh, I've arrived. Like, this is an ever-growing process. Mm-hmm. So these things is not all inclusive. Man. It is.
And that's it so far.
So how we supposed to be polygamous? Which one is it? Multiple?
Polygamy.
So polygamous. How we gonna be polygamous and we dealing with all this with two? These are two people we talking about. Mm. These are two people we've been talking about.
I feel like in that situation, there's a lot of talking going on. There's some communication about like who's doing what's going on.
But here's the thing: do you believe that in that situation, that one man and those 10 women are hitting all these aspects? They're not. They're sectioning them off. Okay, you got the best vagina. You can cook better. You can clean better. So they're lacking the chance to even develop all this stuff we talking about. But we'll deal with that in another video.
Yeah. That was gonna open up. I was gonna open up something.
You ain't even gotta try to work on that stuff. Oh, she cook. I don't cook.
Tiffany said that's very true. Miss Alicia said, wow, this is awesome. And Cora said polygamist.
Yeah, let me help you out.
I was struggling.
Thank you, Cora. All right.
What are some other characteristics that y'all can identify that are of femininity that can be that can turn toxic? I gave the last two, so I'm done.
I don't know.
Why don't we ask y'all? So what are some other characteristics or traits of femininity that y'all can identify that can also become toxic? Please, we want to hear your comments.
Miss Alicia said, Adrian, you about to make me shout.
Come through!
They didn't comment.
Too much. We're not coming here to go to bed.
Maybe one day, but 2 days.
2 days, not today. I ain't heard some of them names that you call it. I ain't seen them.
Miss Cora said childhood trauma.
As in, what do you mean by childhood trauma? Like holding on to it and using it for decision making in your adulthood? Because that's the case, definitely. I posted on Facebook today because I was just sitting around thinking about some stuff that I had within myself that I realized that contributes to my actions and how I treat people. Mm-hmm. And I was like, bro, to be honest, we all adults out here just trying to get over childhood trauma. Like, it's so much stuff that it can be minute or big that you don't really realize on a daily basis controls your perspective of what you're doing to people.
Mm-hmm.
She said yes.
Yeah, that can be very toxic. And to be honest, man, people don't sit down before jumping into a relationship with other people to think about, okay, I need to deal with this trauma because how I interpret what I'm receiving is based on the trauma that I had as a child. Mm-hmm. Like, it's folks just be out here. Sex and money is all they. Sex and money. As long as you got good sex and money, we can work. What?
We can make it.
We can make it. What about all this other stuff?
Miss Alicia said, women who hold to their past life and bring it into the new.
Yeah, very toxic.
Themselves time to heal.
Very toxic.
Living in the past.
Very toxic. And
another one. Back to back.
Tiffany said, carrying old issues into another relationship. That is what happens, and the cycle continues.
Yes.
I recently found out. I didn't know that the past concepts from your family affects your relationship as well. Like, I used to think it was kind of like, well, what happened in a relationship is what I bring over to another relationship. But like, your mom or dad can say or do something that you bring over into a relationship that you build your foundation in that relationship on, that's totally flawed. Like you ain't got this can be your very first relationship and you destroy it based on something your mom or dad said or did. Like, it didn't even have to be, in my past relationship, my boyfriend or girlfriend used to do such and such, so I'm expecting that from you. It could be my mom or dad used to say or do such and such, or I saw her treat him like such and such, so I'm just going to grab that and accept that as truth. Like, it's a lot, man.
I can't think of anyone.
Yeah,
Not right now.
Nothing else.
That's not it.
You can't think of nothing else? So what can we do to prevent toxic femininity? What can be done to prevent it?
Talk it out, man.
Talk it out.
Got to talk it out.
Ooh, got another one. I don't know how. This is
Give me
I'm giving you 3.
Gotta get a 3 in. Gotta get a 3 in.
And we've talked about this before, how the women are okay with being perceived as weaker. You know, the world portrays women as weak, so they feel the need to find someone who can protect them, right? We've talked about this before. The world doesn't promote the idea of women being strong in the physical sense. Like, we promote strength in, other
Getting a
areas.
job and taking care of your
job,
being independent, handling
taking care of
yourself.
your children.
You better unquote independent.
Oh, my bad.
Go ahead.
My bad. Take it back. I'm sorry.
But I think a trait of femininity is weakness in the physical strength, and it can become toxic when a woman doesn't feel like she needs to develop her physical strength in order to be able to protect herself, or feeling like she needs to find a man who can now provide that protection that she's seeking. But we don't promote the idea of women building their own strength, or even going out and getting the resources that are available to her to become stronger, to protect herself. But if you want to make the case, well, if a woman and a man grow up and neither of them ever work out a day in their life, that the man is going to be naturally stronger than a woman, fine. But that still has never stopped a woman from being able to build up her physical strength
And knock a Negro out. Because there's some women that can knock you straight to your feet. I'm just saying.
Right. Gyms are open to women the same way they're open to men. Resources are available to women the same way that they're available to men. Anything else that one would need to be able to protect themselves, they're available to both genders. So the idea that women are naturally weaker, or that are just weak by virtue of being a woman, that needs to be eradicated. That needs to be a characteristic that does not need to be assigned to a woman, because females fall into that and think that they don't need to do anything to be able to protect themselves.
So the whole 5 years they're waiting on a man to come provide that strength, you can be developing your own.
Get in the gym.
Let me biblically clear that up. So biblically, the Bible does say the woman is the weaker vessel, but you can't look at that with the English interpretation, because we know the Bible was written in Hebrew. So when it says the weaker vessel, it's equivalent to having an original copy of something, right? So you print something out, that's the original copy, right? If you take it through a scanner and scan another copy, that second copy is going to be weaker, but to your visual eyes, they look the same. It's only weaker because it was copied second, or it was a copy of that. Equivalent to biblically when God took Eve out of Adam, it doesn't mean she's weaker in the sense of she can never be strong. It simply means there was an original version and then he took another version out of that. But if you pull 2 scans up beside each other, you won't be able to tell which one is the copy. Right. So that term weaker doesn't identify necessarily physical capabilities, but more of the action that God took in that creation situation. That make sense?
Yes, it does.
Got a little preaching in there for you.
You did. LaTiffany said, Cora said she's thinking. LaTiffany said, ooh, that is true. My mom accepted abuse, not me. I broke that curse.
There you go.
You said LaTiffany? Miss Alicia, she got them fire emojis. LaTiffany said, these are good topics. I'm learning this afterwards. Good. Cora said, I don't think that's true in the Black community.
Which one? What?
As far as women being perceived weaker? So again, we're not talking. We're talking specifically in the physical aspect.
Yeah.
We know people or the world promotes strength in women when it comes to everything else.
Yeah.
But we're talking
just
specifically physically.
Like being able to knock a nigga out.
Right.
Because she can.
She can.
With no problem.
Settle down.
Right hook.
Comments, please.
Let's see. Miss Selena has joined the chat. She said, "Hello, y'all. You do know that femininity is misspelled, or did y'all want to spell it like that?"
I'll go back and change it.
Oh yeah, it's Adrian. He don't know words.
But all he know is words.
Should have asked me, yo. I was here for you.
I thought I had it right. There wasn't no squiggly lines on it. That doesn't mean I misspelled it before and accepted it. Okay. My thought like, oh, this is how you spell it. Okay.
Right. Oh, my bad. Yeah.
Let's see. Miss Cora said, "Black women are naturally aggressive. I think in a sense it can be a downfall."
Definitely.
A downfall too.
Definitely. Do you know how long it been dead?
I mean, it's not dead. It's just dying.
Okay. Was that the last question, Aaron?
I think so.
Well, no, it's...
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Right.
I see. Oh.
Yes, continue.
Oh, want me to ask it?
Yeah.
Okay. So the last question that we have is, why hasn't the world never specifically identified toxic femininity to the same degree that we now come to acknowledge toxic masculinity? And I know the answer to that.
I think they do. They do the same. It's
until you brought that up and you and Aaron were talking about that, I have never heard those two words together. I'm gonna be honest with you, but I know why, and it goes back to because the world doesn't care about the man, and our main goal is to protect the woman. So we don't want to assign words like toxic to words like femininity, because we take words like to be feminine and we lift it up and we want to protect it because that's what we do. So you don't want to put a word like toxic and femininity beside each other because it opens up all the stuff that we've been discussing for the last 2 or 3 weeks, which is a lot.
Yeah, and there are organizations out there that try to promote toxic femininity, such as Slut Walk. Remember we talked about that?
Oh yeah.
So just the concept, I believe, is just allow women to just be women. If we want to be sexual, or we are sexual creatures just like a man. We just like you said, the only thing that makes us different are just the natural born things that I can do that you can't. But literally, we can do everything. What you can do, I can do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So even with that organization, they were trying to promote just allowing women to be women, not seeing us only, as sex objects, and allowing us to go out in the world. If we want to wear what we want to wear, then we should be able to wear it without, the masses out here, looking at us or saying things or, stuff like that. And I think it's more so also on women empowerment. Because a lot of women don't do that. We down each other a lot. And I hate that we do that. And I try to make it my point to always try to support or uplift another woman, like in any shape, way, or form. Like I try my best to, not negatively talk down on her or, speak ill about her behind her back, but then I'm, in your face being all sweet. I tried to work on that within self to make sure that I don't have that toxic behavior of downing or disrespecting another woman.
So one thing I wanted to bring up last week when we were discussing toxic masculinity, and watching the video that we watched last week made me realize this. So when you see a feminist, right, and you get what was they call them, the male activists or something like that? What were the guys?
Yeah, they were advocating for male rights.
Male whatever. And so anytime you see a feminist and you get a male opposing her, they're always saying, well, why do you feel like you're attacked when I'm just advocating for my rights and stuff like that, right? But when it comes to feminists, when they're advocating for something, they're usually advocating, like, let's say, for instance, being abused. You're usually advocating for not being abused by another man. So, but when you don't separate that not all men do it, you're putting us in a box with those men who do. So now it feels like an attack on my character when I'm not the one who's out here.
That's because they don't use the titles correctly, the boy and the man.
Right. So, but I think it also needs to be understood that, women are advocating, or the idea of femininity or a feminist, they're advocating for women's rights against males who oppose it, and also other females who oppose it as well, and vice versa.
Yeah, they don't.
Men who advocate for men's rights, they're advocating for that against females who oppose it, and other males who oppose that idea.
It's not well rounded when they do it.
Right. So that's why it feels like an attack, because you're not including everybody. You're only including a certain gender, and you're grouping me in with that gender when that's not my character. So let's identify who's the problem. And both men and women can be a part of the problem. And we're addressing both men and women. We're not addressing just one person.
It does seem like that. When I see them, it just seems like it's angled directly at men, because all the women are just automatically included. But like, include everybody, because there are females who oppose that feminine agenda as well.
They do. Maybe
correct.
So that's why I feel like it can be interpreted as an attack.
I feel like I gotta. Because when I hear somebody be like, "Oh, that man was beating that woman," I've never known a man to beat a woman. Right. That male or boy may have been beating her, and that makes perfect sense because he ain't got no self control in that area. But we don't do that. We don't. I don't do that.
Monique said, side note, Aaron, your mic has been going in and out. I think that was earlier, maybe when you were fixing it.
3 hours later.
Cora said, because it's more active in males than females. LaTiffany said, stereotypes has hindered us. We have grown up to look at other women as bad behavior instead of individuals who ended up in a different lane than what you personally agree with. I agree with that, LaTiffany. Good. Like, it's just because you are... No, LaTiffany.
Oh.
Just because, you're on a different path, I'm not on that path. So if anything, I should be really excited for you, because I'm not doing that and I don't know nothing about it. So, of course, my initial thing is going to be to, always support you. If I have questions, or if I, really want to invest in you, then I'll make sure that I do that or show that in my support. I agree with her, because I just feel like we just need to do better, just with women amongst each other. That we're all women. We are here with each other. Like, there's communities, there's organizations built specifically for women. So we can use those different outlets for support, for, emotional stability, a home, whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a behavior I wish that women would change or
while you're
eradicate.
saying that makes perfect sense for y'all, but I'm just picturing a guy saying that and the world just tearing him apart.
Saying what?
Like, everything you're saying is great. Like, that's great ideas, great resources, great situations. But like, when we start to talk like that, it's automatically, oh, you weak. Oh, you'll be all right. Oh, you this, you that. Like, we need those same exact things. Like, we were talking about the guy, Melvin, who can't even compliment another guy. But like you're saying, we need you can literally say as a woman, we need to start complimenting each other. If I say that, it's gonna automatically be perceived as, oh, you need to watch him. Like, we gotta stop that. It's the same.
It is.
We should have that same vocal ability without societal persecution. But we'll deal with that, and y'all don't care about us. It's gonna be the time. Definitely gonna be the time.
Oh, really?
Y'all don't care about us.
I need you to be smoothly off your tongue. I need you to be specific. Who don't care about you?
Y'all don't put in.
Who is y'all?
Society.
Who is y'all? Society? Okay.
Program society.
Make sure you be specific.
Society.
Well, who don't care about you? Because I don't think that's true. LaTiffany says support one another. Yep. And Miss Alicia gave us some more fire emojis. So yeah. If that was a trait for me to add to the characteristics that we already talked about, that would definitely be one of mine. That would be a toxic behavior. I wish that we could really work on.
Yeah, like y'all already at war with the world, so we don't need to be at war with ourselves.
With each other.
Yeah, like that ain't helping. And with us, we at war with the world, and we can't even comment on helping build each other up. And it's just in the men or the male version. Mm-hmm. Y'all at war with the world with all the stuff y'all got going on, but then y'all down each other. We don't down each other or uplift each other. We just quiet. We do this. Whatever. All right. You good? Yeah.
Hey man, where you get that shirt from?
Yep.
Y'all
gotta do better. Y'all gotta do better. Help them out. Miss Alicia said men need to start caring about one another. Yes, they do, ma'am.
Legit.
Yes, they do.
Legit.
Yeah, bro. Let's protect each other, bro.
I feel like if men and women, if we was just out here just living our lives, supporting each other, I feel like we would be in a different world.
I believe the air would smell different. Like the energy that we would be exuding,
we gotta start protect. If the world's not going to protect us, let's at least protect ourselves at the very least.
Cora said men definitely need that free space to be open with each other.
Yes.
And then Miss Alicia said, bind the strong man.
Legit.
I agree. But we ain't talking about y'all.
All right, now you want to stay on. While ago she was trying to mush stuff off of the
I just want to let y'all know, because I've been friends with them for so long, it takes nothing to get them right back. just simple little trigger words.
Now you want to focus it back on y'all.
Son. Y'all know, y'all are loved. I love my daddy. I love my brother. I love you guys. Like we said last time in the last video, it's all about who you are around. And then whatever those people that are, influencing you and helping you and pushing you, i.e. your friends or your woman or whoever, then use that and go out in the world and spread the word, which is what we're doing here. So I feel like it'll eventually get there. We do need more spaces or more organizations to promote men's health, men's mentality, men's mental state, their spirituality, like all of that. But they just want y'all to be strong right now. That's it. They just want y'all to be strong.
We not always strong.
And I wish that it was normal for y'all to show emotion, because I think that there is nothing wrong with it. And I feel like even because we're talking about toxic femininity, it would be even more fantastic if we had women in those relationships. Instead of Miss Alicia said, instead of ridiculing them and humiliating them, wipe his tears. Wait for him to get himself together and then allow him to talk with us, just sitting there and listening. We do not have to always respond, because all we do is talk. So because we talk, let's just, let's just
dry.
Be here.
Just a bowl.
Let's just be here.
You do nothing but right.
What you whipping? The air.
The air. What? Flat.
So yeah. Well, just know that the people around you love you.
I believe that.
The world is slowly getting there, but they are getting there.
I believe we appreciate y'all. We definitely appreciate y'all.
We want the love that we get in our circle to be in everybody's circle.
All right. So Ms. Cora said this was an awesome conversation. I got to tune in more often. But until next time.
Thank you.
Bye, Ms. Cora. Miss Alicia, she said... All right, so I celebrate women. I compliment women. I lift them. I encourage them, amongst other things. I make no time to be concerned with how others perceive my outpouring of love, or should I say my giving of flowers. I have had some women come on to me. I've corrected them in love, and I won over a friend.
I'll be the same way.
Miss Alicia, you better say that.
I'll be the same way. I kid you not, to be the same way.
I like that.
But with dudes, I'm giving you all this not because I want to be with you, but because I want to give you this. So when they be like, hey man, hold up, that ain't this, whatever. And I became good friends with most of the people that it happened to. Some of them be like, well, no, that's all I wanted. Like, well, all right, peace out then. But I know a handful of them, we friends to this day because of that conversation. And I still continue to tell them I love them, encourage them, praise them when they do something, because that's what I want. You know what I'm saying? I want that, so I know what I'm assuming is what you want to.
Right. That was the last comment.
Well, I think this is a good place to be.
You think? This video at least 2 hours long. At least.
right. Well, I want to thank everybody for tuning in, for commenting, for getting. We had some great involvement today.
Yes.
Some
and it came off the rip.
Yeah.
They ain't wasting no time.
So shout out to everybody, LaTiffany, and everybody else. I'm sorry.
Miss Alicia, Miss Cora.
Yeah, you was reading them.
All of y'all. So appreciate you for tuning in. Catch us same time, same place next week. We will be posting what the topic will be for next week throughout the week, so be on the lookout for that. Right now, we're going to say goodbye to our future selves. One day we'll look back on this and wonder why we were ever like this in the first place. And on that note, we'll catch you next time.